Dream a little dream of me. Welcome kindreds, it's Jessica TheStoryWitch and I have a tag video for you today. This is a tag that I saw Renee Meadowlark Mystic doing last night, and then when I got up this morning, Lisa and Michelle Dawn from Boho Tarot had already done it too. So I thought, yeah, I want to do that. I've been looking for kind of a way to get back into making more videos where I'm chatting to you guys and stuff like that, and this seemed just like the perfect way to do it, with especially with the rainbow motif, which I really love. So thank you so much, Renee, for creating such a sweet tag. So the idea of the tag is that you choose a tarot or oracle deck or both. People are interpreting it already as they want to, which is so cool, to represent each colour of the rainbow. So I'm going to go through mine, and I do have a little giveaway at the end as well, which is something that has been sent to me that I want to give away on my channel. So stay tuned for that. So first up then in the rainbow is red, and my choice is the same as Michelle Dawn's Boho Tarot. I almost did pick the Mary L for this because that is also a deck for me which is very much red. This one's a weird one because it's not actually red. Like the book, the box is kind of red, it's kind of almost like reddy brown, but there is such a lot of red in the card, and it's kind of the color that jumps out the most to me anyway in the deck. So yeah, for some reason when I think of a red deck, this Santa Muerte Tarot, I don't think I even told you what it was, is something, I think because of the whole kind of death, rebirth, the red is very significant in this deck, I guess, is what I really mean. So it's not so much that there is masses of red, like there's obviously lots of cards which have very minimal red in them, but when there is red there, it is very significant. And the whole suit of wands has red as its kind of theme colour as well. So yeah, it's also kind of quite an earthy red, I guess. There's some earthy reds and there's some more vivid reds, so yeah. I don't actually, it's so weird, this deck, I don't actually like love it in a way, and yet I keep working with it because it is, I find it very good for almost like kind of fortune telling, you know, like kind of actual old school divination type stuff. So yeah, that's interesting to me that I find that. So that's the Santa Muerte for my red. Now the one that I've chosen for orange is the one that Renee showed for yellow, and it could also be yellow. It's just for some reason this deck seems very sort of sunshiny to me, which, you know, you can argue as well about that, whether that's orange or whether that's yellow. But yeah, to me, this is kind of more orange for some reason. My yellow deck could also be argued to be orange as well. So yeah, you'll see that in a minute. So this is the Chrysalis Tarot. I've had this deck for absolutely ages. I'm not sure exactly when it came out, but I think I bought it not that long after it came out. And there is like another book you can get for it now, which I've bought and I've not even really used. The little white book for this deck is good, but it's very easy to read without the book at all. I think it's a very intuitive deck, so it's fun. I use this deck especially for reading things like around healing and stuff like that, I suppose. And like with it being chrysalis, it's like if you're feeling a bit stuck, this deck can be a really good deck to read with from that point of view. So yeah, that's the Chrysalis Tarot, and that is my choice for orange. Although, like I said, Renee shared it for yellow, and you could argue that it's yellow. You could also argue that it's blue. There's an awful lot of colour in, oh look at that card, isn't that beautiful? So yeah, that was my orange. And then for yellow, which could also be orange, because both my yellows and orange are kind of orangey yellow, is the Joie de Vivre, which is by Paulina Cassidy. I love Paulina Cassidy's decks. I suppose I probably thought of it straight away because of the backs, but I don't know, the kind of vibe of it feels kind of yellow to me. It's almost like, even with the greys, there's a kind of backgroundy of yellowness to this deck that I find just, it was my obvious choice for yellow. So yeah, I really love this deck. Again, it's very intuitive. You can read it just from looking at the pictures and kind of the spirits of the people, the faces and things that are in the pictures of the animals and people, and kind of weird spirit hybrids that are in this deck. But the book is also cool as well. So yes, you know, it's yellow. It's definitely yellow. So that is my choice. That's the Joie de Vivre for yellow. And I didn't keep the box for that one. I used to want to all get bags for all of my decks. So some are in bags now, some are in boxes. And for green, the Ostara, because this is a very green deck. It's that kind of like, it's not turquoise, but you know, it is that kind of like, it's got a lot of blue in the green as well. And the deck itself, this box is actually quite annoying, the way that it, you have to kind of split the deck to put it in. The one, this got gilded edges, and these are the backs. I know I've shared this deck lots of times on my channel. I'm sure you will have seen this before. But the cards are very green and springy. With it being the Ostara Tarot, makes a lot of sense. So yeah, this deck was actually created by 4 different artists in a collaboration. So some people don't like that because the artwork is not like totally homogenous going through the whole deck. But I love it. It's really lovely to read. Really good for doing like family type readings or kind of like planning readings. Like I like this one for doing like month ahead type stuff. It's always got an awful lot to say, and there's so many layers to the images that there's always so much richness in here. So yeah, I really love it. So that is my choice for green. And see what I mean? You have to kind of like split it so that you can fit the book on top. Sorry, I'm nudging the camera now as well. Let's squeeze that back there. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Okay, so for blue, I've chose the Celestial Tarot. This is a deck that I've also had for quite a while, but I hardly ever use. But when I was thinking blue, this was the one. Unsurprisingly, it's got blue borders, which I don't love. I have kind of considered trimming this, and it's also got blue back. So it's a very blue deck, probably unsurprisingly, because it is kind of star themed. Oh gosh, I hope they're not all gonna fall over there. So yeah, the sort of concept behind this deck is that all of the cards are related to things in the sky, hence the Celestial Tarot. So there's stories mainly from Greco-Roman tradition, which is kind of cool, and I use it for more kind of story-based stuff. And it is a very little white book considering how much is in these cards, but it does give you a kind of starting point. So I used to use this deck for kind of storytelling purposes, and yeah, like, you know, sometimes when you want to get at underlying patterns, like why am I keeping on doing this and things like that, it can be useful to have these kind of story archetypes to refer to. And I used to use it, but I put it on the shelf and I haven't used it for ages. So it's really cool actually to pull it back out and think, oh yeah, I need to use it. It's not a deck that I would get rid of because I do really like it and I do think it's useful, but yeah, I need to use it more. I haven't got masses and masses of decks, but it is hard when you've got more. Like I tend to kind of have a couple out and then I'll use them and keep going back and back to them and not take anything different. So yeah, so I've actually gone Indigo Violet, which I hope is okay. Because I couldn't choose for the purple. So I chose Morgan Greer for Indigo because it's kind of purple here, but then inside it's more of a kind of bluey purple. So again, little white book. This deck is very kind of Rider-Waite-Smithy, and I like that about it, but it's just got a different kind of vibe, even though the imagery is very Rider-Waite-Smith. The style of the deck is not, and I like that. I find this really good. This is really good for doing like client readings, because the imagery is very recognizable to people. It's kind of what sometimes people, if you use a deck more like a star or something, people are sometimes like, oh, I didn't think that it was going to look like that. So this can be good for client readings when people want a kind of more traditionally type looking deck. but without using the Rider-Waite-Smith or whatever deck you like to use. So yeah, again, I suppose kind of an old-fashioned deck, but one that I find useful. So that is Indigo, and then I'm just going to stick that there. And then for Violet, the same as Lisa chose, because this deck is Violet, is Shadowscapes. And as you can see, this is the version, the first version that came out, and it is, the pictures are tiny and there is lots and lots of detail in them. But you know what? I don't care. I love it so much that I don't care. I sort of did look at getting the Polish version with the bigger imagery, but like you can see, this deck is kind of battered. I use this a lot. I love it. I love it for all different kinds of readings. And like, it looks kind of sweet, but there is so much depth to this that you can have very deep readings with this deck, especially, you know, like sort of when you're looking to get at the underlying questions, why am I still doing this, or what patterns am I currently trapped in, that kind of reading. This deck will read those very well, I find. The book, I haven't grabbed the book out actually. I hardly ever look at the book now because, like I said, I use this so much, I kind of know what it says in the book as well. But the book is actually really good. It's a proper sized book, and it's bubble bound, so it has really good descriptions of why the imagery in these particular cards as well, which I really love. So yeah, that's Shadowscapes. So those are my 7 decks, and I've also, like I said, I've got something to give away, which is something that I was sent from Lucy at Womancraft Publishing, and it seemed like the perfect time to do it because it is so very rainbowy on the front of it. So last year I shared and I did a giveaway on my channel of book 1 of this series by Gina Martin. So the series is the When She Wakes series, and it is about kind of what happened to the goddess, why the goddess got kind of swept away, and that Western society, well, I suppose most society is now more God orientated than goddess orientated. But it's a novel, you know, it's not non-fiction, it is a novel. And so this is book 2. I'll probably try and link that first. I did more of like a review. I haven't actually read this yet. She did send it to me a while back. I've got the Kindle version for me, and I've got this version to give away. So I haven't read it yet, but I am looking forward to reading it. So you might get to read it before me. Let me know if you're interested. Just let me know if you're interested in the comments, and I will do like a random generator out of the comments to pick a winner. Let's say closing date, so that I know when we can do it. It would be, let's say, what are we on now? We say the 1st of September. So let me know by the 1st of September if you are interested in this book, and I will pick a winner, and I'll let you know on my community page. Thank you so much for watching. It does feel really weird and odd to be chatting to you after not chatting for so long, but I have missed it. I've missed you guys. So yeah, if you want to chat with me in the comments, please do so. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.